From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OpenLine. Glad you are with us. A lot of people have struggled to pay their rent, pay their mortgage during the pandemic. There has been money, federal money, that has been made available through the Metro Action Commission. We've had them on the show a few times to talk about that, to tell you how to sign up. Now there are some changes to that program, so we want to have them back and see what this means. Who will now qualify? What are the changes? What if you are out there and needing help paying rent or mortgage? What do these changes mean? So that's what we're talking about tonight. Certainly want to hear from you if you have questions or thoughts, but let's bring in our guest, Lisa McCrady, Director of Communications with the Metro Action Commission, joining us via Zoom. Lisa, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Ben, for this opportunity.
Well, you're welcome. You've been on a few times. And there was a time you were on and you were trying to tell people about this. And maybe people weren't aware that there was a lot of money. So what's going on right now? What's going on?
So right now, we have received or spent over we're probably closer to $40 million in rental assistance for residents here in Davidson County who are behind on their rent due to COVID. And what that means is that 4,000 households already have received this assistance. Davidson County has done quite well in distributing these funds. We're number one in the state, and we're also one of the top in the nation for distributing this funding that's offered to us by the U.S. Treasury Department. And so it says a lot of things. Number one, it says it really speaks volumes of the team that we've had to assemble in a very quick way to get this funding out. But it also speaks to the impact of the pandemic here in Davidson County during the pandemic. And so, we're very grateful for this funding. We're not really sure where or how residents would have recovered and covered the past due rents, but we're definitely excited that we have it. But we need to do a pause to do some what we call housekeeping to help those who are still in the system get their applications to completion and to eliminate duplicates and some other things that we'll be doing during this slowdown.
So you're putting a pause on the program. You're pausing. You're going to pause it for about a month, right?
That is correct.
It's going to restart back up in mid-January. And my question, I have a bunch of questions, but my question would be, that's a ton of money that was pumped into the economy. A ton of money pumped into one county, in Davidson County. A ton of people needed this, and you didn't pay just 1 month's rent in many cases, right? In many cases, you paid multiple months' rent. Is that right?
Yeah, so that is correct. The average amount that we pay per family is about $10,000. And so that would represent the months that they were in arrears. And because Davidson County is, as you know, affordability and availability of housing is just at a premium, we wanted to make sure that the families or the individuals were stabilized after they received the funding. So we paid 3 months ahead. Also included were utility assistance, internet bills, because some people were working from home, deposits if the account had been completely shut down, meaning on utilities. And so it really gave flexibility. It also allows us to pay of that funding that I just told you about 7 million went into court-involved applicants, meaning that they were already in the court systems, eviction proceedings had occurred, and we were able to satisfy those debts and keep families from being evicted through the court system.
One time we had Rachel Bell on with you, the judge.
Right.
And essentially what she was doing when people were coming in her court and there was a question about, should they be evicted? They haven't paid. She was kind of sending them your way, and you were helping to pay and keep everybody happy. It's not good if they get kicked out, and it's not good if the landlords don't get their money. So that way, everybody was happy. So my question is, all right, there's a pause. COVID is, let's say it's easing, let's hope. It's easing, COVID's easing. Will this program continue? You say it's going to start back up January 14th, but does this go on? Let's say COVID does get way better, and is there an end date for this?
So I'll answer it in a couple of ways. And so what we're doing, we're pausing on new applicants. So the applicants that are already in the system, we're working on those. So the pause is based on the new applications that are coming in. And so when we open back up on January the 18th, which is right the day after the MLK holiday, we'll be open to accept new applicants. What that looks like is because Nashville has done so well, Davidson County has done so well, we already are in line, or we are receiving $24 million more. And then there's some more money. Well, actually it's 30 million. We thought it was 24, but they said, no, it's 30. So 30 million more. And then as we meet the benchmarks, as we are showing that we can distribute this funding and the need is there, we are receiving allocations from other areas in the country that haven't been able to get the funding out. And so the bill, the Emergency Rental Assistance Act, it ends in 2025. And so it can go as far as then or as funding is made available.
It ends in 2025. And this is federal money.
2025.
I was going to ask, where's this money come from? But I'll answer. It's federal money, right?
Correct.
So the federal government's sending this money. And that's great. People need it, and landlords need it, and renters need it to stay in their homes. Are you saying that somebody could stay on this until 2025?
So no, not stay on. So right now we're prioritizing any applicant that hadn't received funding for the first time. And so there's a way that you can come back in and recertify, but right now we're taking care of those applicants first. And so it just kind of depends. Some people are really having trouble finding and reestablishing themselves, and things are still happening. Some people were good at the beginning of the pandemic, and as things are kind of stretching out and getting a little bit longer, and now Omicron is here. There's a lot of different variants in situations, and so having that date, it means a couple of things. It's contingent upon funding being available, so it depends on what the need looks like. This cleanup allows us to really look at a really clean number. And so we're looking at roughly about 9,000 unduplicated or unique addresses in our system now. We've already been able to do the initial cleanup. Initially, it was 11,000 there. So after we've done the cleanup, it looks like it's around 9,000, and then we'll be digging in even more because some of those applications could be still duplicates. It could be out of county. It could be people who no longer need the assistance. And so this cleanup allows us to get to the really true numbers that we need in order to know what else is next, what else is needed in our county.
Is there a cap on what an individual could receive? And is there a cap on what a landlord could receive?
There is no cap on the amount, but there is a cap on the months. So the cap is 18 months. And so, but 12 of those months is the cap on how many months it can be behind or in arrears. But as far as the dollar amount, there is no cap on the dollar amount. So that really allows us the flexibility to make sure that we're bringing those accounts to zero. And then as those who are eligible for the pay ahead, that allows us to really give someone a running start, so to speak.
And so how critical do you think this program is? What if this program went away tomorrow? There might be somebody out there going, COVID again is easing, it's slowing down. Why are we still doing this? What if this program went away, at the start of the year?
Yeah, I don't think that it will because the need is still there. As I said, we have another variant that's out there. And also, as people are still, again, trying to recover, you mentioned something earlier about Judge Bell. She has been an incredible partner, as are all of the other judges in General Sessions and Ricky Ruker in our civil courts. And so being able to partner and have a unique partnership, one of the things actually that's been highlighted at the White House Evictions Prevention Summit, the unique partnership that we have. So when you're going into the court system, they know about us and they're referring to us, and we're referring to make sure that they are directed to our housing court. What that does is that it streamlines the process. It allows the attorneys who are representing the landlords to know, yes, there is an end in sight. It also allows us to make sure that we are all in the loop on everything. And so Nashville has just really come together in a really unique way to make sure that we know what's needed in our county, and that we know about any evictions that are out there, anyone who's pending evictions. And so it's just a really great partnership. And so I don't think, in fact, I know it's not going to go away at the end of the year. When we come back in January, we fully know that we'll have new applicants ready to apply. We are preparing even those applicants now, making sure they know what they need to prepare and have ready when the portal opens. The courts are doing the same thing. And so, yeah, we're going to be here as long as we have funding available, and the need is still here.
And my other part to that is, okay, if it went away, it won't go away. If it did, would we see massive evictions? Would we see mass evictions, or what would we see, in your opinion, if this were to end? I believe
that there would be an uptick because, in addition to the renters suffering, the landlords, particularly the private landlords, they have really endured, because some of the properties are still mortgaged, and so the rent is what covers the mortgage. And of course, the landlord doesn't live with the tenant, and so they probably have a mortgage on their own properties. And so it has really been, I think, hard for everyone, tenants and landlords. And so if this funding went away, I think in addition to the homelessness or some people being displaced as far as renters, I think that our property owners and our landlords will also suffer as well. And then you have a bigger issue as it relates to housing here in Davidson County.
You said $30 million new dollars are coming in for this program for next year. So that's very significant. Correct. And then I look up at Washington and I see all the battling over all the stuff they're battling over. And I mean, Congress. Is there any threat, in your opinion, that this money goes away? Are you worried that this money could go away at some? I mean, it's very interesting. You said through 2025. I guess is there a specific bill? Is it already funded, or does it have to be refunded every year? How does that work?
What it does is that there's a amount that is already set aside in Treasury to cover renters who are facing eviction. And so that funding has already been allocated. And so they're projecting to 2025 that we'll be able to administer this program in some type of way. Now, it could look different after the pandemic, but it still will be emergency rental assistance. But right now, there's no indication that any changes are being made that will jeopardize this funding. In fact, Treasury, we regularly report in, and they regularly ask for our feedback on different things that will help enhance and take away barriers if there are any. And we were very instrumental in getting some changes made initially that were posing barriers to being able to apply, such as some people couldn't find their documentation about, things like where they worked before the pandemic and things of that nature. And so being able to self-attest to different parts of things that you couldn't find the actual documents for, that eliminated barriers. And so other things that the Treasury listened to those of us who were distributing the funds, they were able to make those changes. And so as the changes were made, we adjusted and made sure that applicants knew, hey, you don't have to have that anymore, or instead of that, we can do this. So they have been, I think, very accessible, and as well as the White House Special Eviction Prevention Committee that's also been in touch with us.
All right, I want to take a call here before we go to break. Then I'll start taking more calls. So let's start with Ralph. Ralph, hello.
Hello.
Hello, Ralph. Go right ahead, Ralph. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. My water heater went out about a month ago, and I had to get that fixed. And then I had a pipe bust, and I had to get that fixed. So I'm late on my mortgage. I didn't know if y'all could help me in some kind of way.
Your water heater went out. You had a pipe bust. Where do you live in Davidson County?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'll let you answer this question, Lisa.
Sure. So You know what? You've been with us so long, Ben. I feel like you're on the payroll.
Now, why are you laughing at me?
I'm not laughing. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I was saying I thought I knew the answer to this, but I wanted Lisa to answer it. No, your situation sounds dire. Water heater. Right. And all of this situation, but I want Lisa to answer this because I bet there are a lot of people that are in the same situation. So what about this situation?
Sure. This particular fund that we're talking about with the $30 million and that type of thing, that's through the rental assistance program. However, Metro Action does have housing assistance that covers rent and mortgage. That's our typical assistance or our traditional assistance. And so what I would encourage Ralph to do is allow us to give us a call and dig a little deeper and see if his, kind of what's going on with him qualifies for that funding. There are other pots of money throughout the city that helps mortgage holders to help with their payments because, a lot of applicants, both renters and homeowners, sometimes it takes one thing to go wrong and then everything is just like a ripple effect. And so what Ralph is explaining is the situation that others have had to where, I got this big bill with the water payment, and now I gotta pull it from somewhere, and so we want to come alongside and help. So I would like to talk to Ralph a little bit more about his situation.
But also what Ralph just said, it has nothing to do with COVID. I mean, he's got terrible bills here, and that's tough, but it's not COVID. So you're saying this might not be. If he gets help, it wouldn't. Maybe it wouldn't be through this HOPE program that's COVID money. Is that right or not?
Right. It wouldn't be through HOPE program because it's only for renters. And I guess what I'm saying is that we have other assistance programs that are specific to mortgage holders. And what it's looking at is what is your hardship. And what I heard his hardship was that is an unexpected repair that he has to make. And having a water heater is a part of health and safety in anyone's home. We need that in order to heat our water and for our homes to not flood and some other things. So it can really have some other lasting effects. So we expect you to be able to attend to that. And so what I want to talk to him a little bit later, and we can give him a call tomorrow, is to listen to, just the entire situation, because we're looking at loss of income. We're looking at unexpected bills or unexpected expenses, such as what he just mentioned. And so, yes, we can definitely talk more about that.
Ralph, thank you for your call. I know there are a lot of other people in the same situation. I encourage people to call in with questions or thoughts or whatever. Mike, hold on the line. There's a number at the bottom of the screen, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.